Hi, welcome to my video. I'm Jennifer Roberts. You're catching me on my YouTube channel, True Divine 44, or my Facebook page, True Divine 44. Like, shares, subscribes and comments on either or both of those platforms is greatly appreciated, and much love to everybody who's done that thus far. I'm putting out as much free content as I can, mainly via tarot, to help support, guide and inspire the collective. Because it is general that the readings that I'm putting out, I'm picking up on a collection of the energies around me. So some of it might resonate with you, it might all resonate with you. Take what helps you, leave the rest behind. Take what leaves you. Take what helps you, leave the rest behind. If you want to support me and support yourself, if you're able to do so, you can book a private reading with me with any of the contact details above or below this video, depending on where you're catching it. It will be a lot more personal, a lot more precise to your life, to the questions that you have, the questions that you want answered. So you can do that, or I also do energy work, again via Skype or FaceTime, whatever other modem you use. I'll try and implement at my end. It just helps you use the energy around you and within you with intent and purpose, and really gives you an energized feeling, an empowering feeling, not just feeling, but it actually empowers you, it actually energizes you and eases anxiety and much, much more. So you can do either of those two things if you feel led to do so. If not, please like, share and subscribe, and I'm just as grateful for that support. So I haven't managed to be putting out many daily energy readings where I pick up a collection of the energies around me and put those out for the day. Helps people get through the day, know what energies are around them, and how they can navigate through the day best. I haven't managed to be putting out too many because I did have to do some monthly readings, and I did have to spend some time with my beautiful boys, just to have some fun. They needed it, so sorry not sorry, because I needed to do what I needed to do. So this is for the 7th of April 2020. It is an energy for the day. It's a pretty awesome reading actually, for the 7th of April. So the first card being the Princess of Air, or the Page of Swords in other decks. So this is a very childlike, scholarly energy, a very intrigued by everything energy. It does often symbolize good news, so there might be good news over the collective today, and take, if there is, find it, take it, whatever good news we have is good news. So, but mostly this represents for today for me this is the learning card. This card, she's ready. The energy of this card is ready to learn, full of readiness, mental dexterity, the expanding mind. She wants to search and inquire and be taught, and today it really does symbolize the nudge that many people have been getting, and anything that's meant for harm can be turned around for good, because where there's either this imposed self-isolation, or whether there's just people imposing it upon themselves through fear or just through being practical, then there's the good part of this. And the good part is that the universe has really been given that nudge to people to say, I'm here, this side of you is here, this is something you can do here and now. You have the time now, you have the space now, there's no excuse now. And it's that spiritual side of self that many people have ignored for far too long. When we're ignoring any side of self, the light, the dark, the physical, the spiritual, we're not in balance. We can't be working to our optimum. So it's really important to take into account, recognize and learn about every aspect of self. And the energy of today is really nudging people to look at that spiritual side of them and connect with the spiritual side of them. It also speaks to the children in our house, in the fact that children on the main, in the many, in the numbers, aren't taught about that spiritual side of them. about that part of them that can empower them, that can hold them through all of the situations that life throws at them, that can keep them grounded, that can help them to not be triggered and not be reactive, to make decisions in haste that would get them into trouble, get them into danger in some situations. So you know that it's really important that if you want to empower your child, you teach them about their spiritual self, because it's something that can keep them safe throughout every physical situation, throughout every 3D thing that can be thrown at them throughout their life. The tool belt of spirituality can really give them all of the tools, all of the tricks, all of the knowings that they need to navigate through life much more strategically, much more flowingly, without getting fixed, without getting obsessed, without getting addicted. That it gives so much empowerment and freedom to the children when we teach them about this spiritual side of self, because many of us forget, because generation after generation this spiritual side of us has been ignored, misunderstood, but as a child we're so close to our spirituality. We're so close to the imaginative world, the world where manifestation really starts. But yet we try and ignore that. We try and hold it away from them, which makes the child feel less whole. It makes them feel less secure. It makes them feel like there's a side of them that they've got to hide. And that will manifest in the 3D world throughout their life. They might hide something from you that you wished that felt secure enough to come to you and talk to you about it before they'd acted on it, or before they'd taken it, or before they'd done it. So to ignore any aspect of ourselves really does affect our children. So there's a real calling for us to help our children while we're isolated, while we've got this time with our children, to have some fun with it. This is a fun childlike energy. Have some fun with it, to learn about the side of them that they don't get taught in schools, that gets ignored in schools, maybe gets laughed at by their peers. Make it normal, because it is normal. Make it full and whole, and give them that extra padding, that extra education about self. Believe you me, they might scoff at it at first when they're not used to it, but energy work, things like that, breathing work, meditative exercises that are fun for kids, they'll get right into it, because that aspect of them has been calling out and yearning for the parent to start to acknowledge it, to accept it as part of them. So to clarify this card, we have the Knight of Swords. So this is fantastic, because this is we've gone from now the page, the princess, to the knight. There's a promotion here. So this energy that we've been getting nudged by today to learn about this spiritual side of self, people are doing it, people are achieving it, people are getting right into it, and they're giving themselves some self-promotion, because they're leveling up in their knowledge and in their acceptance of that side of them, which is great. And it also simplifies the parent taking the lead, going forward. This knight goes fast and goes in hard, and he paves the way, and he doesn't let anything stop him, and he is mentally agile. He speaks the truth. So there's this parent-like energy in this Knight of Swords, paving the way for the child to learn from example, and from getting down into the teachings, down into the ancient knowledge that, like Scotty Roberts on his show was talking about, is timeless. This is the timeless knowledge. It doesn't go in and out of fashion. This is timeless. It's always there. It's always the same. The natural laws. So that's awesome. The second card to represent the 7th of April is the 9 of Wands, and this really speaks to abundance and refinement, but instead of it being the same kind of abundance that normally would sort of spring to mind for the 3D world, this is a refinement of the ideas, an adjustment of the ideas of what we see as abundance, what we see as luxury, and that is the fact that, again, what's meant for harm is made for good, and basically it's the fact that people in this isolation period, or imposed isolation period, have had time to readjust what they see as abundant, what they see as luxurious, and that's taking time to take into account the nature that we have around us, the beauty, the sun, the sky, the moon, the clouds, the green grass, the soil, the sand, all of it being acknowledged and appreciated. So that's a great card for the 7th. We also have, to clarify this, the King of Pentacles. So again, there's this leveling up in, because this King of Pentacles, yes, normally, well, not normally, but a lot of the time it would speak to what people find important of the car that they drive, the abundant things that they have to use, to touch, to feel, the food that they have, the house that they have, the clothes that they have. But this King actually is so much more than that, because yes, this King can stand for all of those things, but he stands exactly for the natural laws too. The energy of this King recognizes the importance in the tiniest little seed, because he knows that from that tiny seed, that humble seed, things can grow, things can actually sustain people. It can be used as food and then transmuted through the body to create nutrients, to create energy. So from that tiniest little seed, he knows the importance of those tiny seeds, and he recognizes them. And so this is the refinement of ideas and ideals, of what people are really turning to in this period of time. They're going back to the natural laws, to recognizing what is around us, and what really is abundant, what really is always there to sustain us. So there's this real just recognition of what is around us and how beautiful it really is. This is like, with the recognition of how asleep we've been to priorities, to ideals, to what is beauty, what is abundance, what is luxury. And it's a little bit like today, where your heart stops and the doctor gives you that jolt of electricity to snap your heart back into action. And it really does feel today like the energy is zinging with, I haven't taken anything, there's nothing gone up my nose, there's nothing gone in my veins, but there's this electricity around, this energy flow, that is making me feel high, it's making me feel good, it's making me feel abundant and like I'm accomplished. So there's this collective jolt going out today of a real refinement and recognition of what is important, what is beauty. A lot of you might be reconsidering what career path you're going to have after this is all said and done. It might be that as this King, for your material success and sustainability, that you're really refining and reconfiguring what you want to do to bring that sustainability and that material success. It may be that as this King, you are promising, as you're working in your garden as hard as you possibly can and as quick as you possibly can, to plant those seeds so that you can still feed your family no matter what. It might be that you are promising yourself today that I will never forget the importance of a tiny little seed ever again. And even when things are good, financial things are good, and The world's really busy attaining all of this luxury, this physical luxury that disappears. That, you know, I'll not forget this point in time. I'll not forget this lesson, this refinement in my ideals of what I need to have to sustain my family, what I need to have to physically nourish my family. So recognition of the tiniest little seeds today, which is sending out a jolt of feel-good energy, of accomplished energy today, which is exactly what we need. Come on. So the third card being the Seven of Swords. Hey Theodore. So no, 1 second. I'm nearly finished.
Something. When you finish this video, can you get something to eat?
Yes, absolutely. Deal. So the third card being the Seven of Swords, and with the Seven of Swords, it speaks of unethical behaviour, it speaks of theft, it speaks of taking away, but it's only partially successful. Now, with the four cards that I've discussed so far, there's a feeling of achievement, a feeling of accomplishment, a feeling of bliss, a feeling of peace. And so today this card represents for me because it's swords, it's mental, it's your thoughts, and your thoughts become things. So the energy that's already been talked about in the first four cards, that kind of thought pattern, that kind of grounded, spiritually knowing, accomplished, a recognition of the beauty of the Great Mother, all of that is very powerful energy, very powerful, successful, blissful, joyful, peaceful energy that is reverberating around the universe and coming back to the sender of that energy. So there might be today where there is a ramping up of theft of your thought pattern, theft of what you're thinking about, and to speak of that on the collective, let's speak for the collective first. This would be the TV. This would be the lies, the contradictions, the numbers, the fear-mongering that is going on. This would be the TV. That you might have been in your garden in the morning, feeling so grounded, feeling so peaceful, feeling the first sun of the day come up on your skin, and heat up your skin, heat up your bones, energize you. You might have come in, made a coffee and put the TV on, and bang, there's that feeling of plug pulled out. Steals away your energy, steals away your bliss and your joy. So it's as easy as, so what do you do to take that away? What do you do to stop that? With the remote. Off. Gone. It disappears, it dissipates, because it's not coming in to your thought pattern. It's not infiltrating your mind, and therefore it's not infiltrating what you're putting out to the universe. It's not able to steal anymore. You've locked your house up. It can't get in. In our individual lives, it might be that we're either on maybe social media, and if today, yes, there's lots of truth being spread, yes, there's lots of contradictions and lies being spread also. So if today you don't feel able to maintain your peace and your bliss and your joy whilst scrolling through social media, then just don't do it, or just ignore those posts. Then that theft can't infiltrate your mind, that unethical behaviour can't take away from you. In your individual lives, again, it might be that you're recognising that you've got people around you that are just on a different energy field today. They're just on a different level today, where they're feeling anxious, where they're feeling like they're feeding off the fear, that they may be not enjoying the fear, but a little bit addicted to the fear today. And again, it might be a little bit more difficult. You can't just switch them off. You can't just not look because you're isolated with them. Maybe it might be a little bit more difficult today. So this is your test to be able to maybe be bombarded with that energy in a lesser way than you would be in the TV or on social media, and practice being able to transmute it. Practice being able to, sorry, the boys are fighting. Practice being able to not look and listen, to yes, be respectful, yes, be loving and compassionate, but not allow that theft of your bliss, of your peace, of your joy. Because this is where, on the spiritual journey, learning about the spiritual side of things, the spiritual side of self, you'll learn that the thoughts that absolutely become reality, that absolutely become your reality, and therefore on to some extent the collective's reality, the thoughts, that the energy that you put out there via those thoughts does create the reality we live in. So know that it is important and imperative for you to keep that joy, to keep that groundedness, that bliss, to yes, be able to acknowledge what's going on around you, to even have this kind of the theft energy in your field, but to learn how to not allow it to take from you, to drain your energy, to drain your bliss and your joy, and your ideas, your thought pattern. Don't let your thoughts be hijacked by this today and every other day thereafter, for that matter. So to clarify this card though, again, everything made for harm can be made for good, is the most awesome card of the deck, arguably, and it's the Sun card. So there's this benevolent sun. It's a major arcana, and this is exactly the card that represents the growth of that tiny little seed, and the recognition of that tiny little seed and what it can actually do in its existence. So this is enlightenment, alignment, and the enlightenment comes from the very first card, that childlike energy of wanting to learn about all aspects of self. And when you do that, you can see the enormity of the sun's role in our life, of the benevolence, the growth, both in our personal life, in our physical 3D world, the growth of that seed, in our spiritual life, the expansion of the knowing of the whole of self. This benevolent sun shines upon you, and it also shines light on the truth of the matter. It helps you today to navigate the day in a way, in a more kingly like way, of being able to discern and see much more clearly where there's theft going on in your life, where the theft of those thoughts that you used to give away has been going on, and it gives you just the knowledge to be able to navigate not allowing that to happen to you again, not allowing that to be part of your day to day. So this benevolent sun card is coming out more and more and more. We're coming through this, and we come through this by doing what we can where we can. So where we're isolated, where we're stuck maybe at home, we've been the creative humans again. And if this reading resonates with you, we've gone around the obstacles and thought, well, what can we do? What can we do while we're stuck here? What can we achieve while we're stuck here? And we've gone on a spiritual journey. We've gone on a self-exploration journey today, and it is paying off in dividends all day and every day thereafter, because this kind of knowing, this kind of knowing of all aspects of self doesn't go away. It grows. You get better at being able to discern things and seeing them under the light of the benevolent sun, of seeing what is meant for harm, and you get better at transmuting even that for good. So today, that's what you've been doing, that's what you're going to continue doing, and it's fantastic. On the bottom of the deck, we have the Nine of Pentacles. So again, speaking of that material abundance, that material success, But for me, yes, people might be moving stocks and shares around and being very dexterous and clever and intelligent about what they're doing and in a timely manner, and that's helping this material success and luxury be attained. But on the main part, on the whole, for the collective, it is this realignment of what is actually luxurious and abundant. The fact that you managed to get seeds the other day, that you're managing to plant them the other day today, or you planted them a few days ago, and under the light of the sun you're seeing little sprouts shoot up within days. It happens so fast. So there's this realignment of what's luxurious and a real feeling of contentment there in the material world that we're living in. The other card is the Eight of Fire, and this speaks to exactly what I've just been speaking of, the Eight of Wands, to that benevolent sun energy, speeding up how we can do things, speeding up our growth, our spiritual growth, our physical growth, the physical growth within our environment, i.e. the seeds that we've planted and the shoots that we're seeing within days. There's a speeding up, but on the collective, there's a real speeding up of time at the minute. Now take note of that. Watch how you're timing your days. Sometimes there's this feeling of there's all the time in the day where you feel like lots of time has passed and only 5 minutes has passed. There's other times where you feel like 5 minutes has passed and 2 hours or 1 hour has passed. There's a real shifting of time and what time is and what time means, and almost a bit of a dissolving of the constraints that time would put upon us. That the current circumstances are a reflection of this speeding up, this momentum of growth in all areas and all aspects of life. So just an awesome day in total, really. The 7, being the bridging number to the other realms. It's an important day today. So take in as much of it as you can, make the most of it as much as you can. Be limitless in your thoughts, in the thoughts of what outcomes are going to be for you, and how your world is going to look and feel, because right now the manifestation power is high. The speed of how it comes back to you, whatever energy you put out there, is very, very fast. So take note of that. Use it to your advantage. Use it for your growth. Use it for your abundance, and for you to be as optimum as you possibly can in your life. I'm sending you all so much love. Mwah. Have a really, really good day. I know I'm going to. Enjoy your day, enjoy the people around you, enjoy yourself most of all. Explore yourself. This is a good day. This is an exciting day. Go for it. Much love. Be balanced, be whole always. Love you.